And okay, here is my really, really pretty girly card for the month. It kind of sparkles due to the embossing and the gold fold paper. So this is using the Abigail Rose Designer Series paper from the annual catalog. And then there's gold and rose gold paper that I used. So now this is the rose gold paper from that. I used all of it. I cut it all up to make all of everyone's card kits this month. And this, I used the Forever Flourishing dies. And I used the big one to cut it out of that rose gold. And then in combination with that, to do the die cut here, that's the painted labels die set. And that's this die there. And then for the stamp set, I used the Happiness Abounds, and I stamped this rose here, and then used the coordinating die to cut it out. And I think that brings you up to speed of like, oh, and then for ribbon, it was the Natural Finish ribbon from the annual catalog. Okay, so to get started, this is going to be a little bit of I can't find my extension cord this morning. It's one of those days. So I used Versamark, and I stamped my rose. And then I took also my sentiment, which is To a Friend That Makes Me Smile. You're going to ask me what stamp set that's from. That's from the Flourishing set as well. Okay, so that's from this Forever Fern set. That's the To a Friend That Makes Me Smile. The same as the die cut for there. So I stamped my rose, and then I'm going to like just turn my paper. I know it's hard to see because we're stamping in Versamark, and stamp To a Friend That Makes Me Smile. Then I took my super pretty copper embossing powder, put that all over, heat emboss it. So now at this point you need to like heat it up. I'm not going to do that on camera because it always sounds awful. So heat that up and then run it through with those dies. And then at that point, I did run through my die so it was off center so that it like tucks better under the rose. I have my To My Friend That Makes Me Smile all embossed in copper, as well as my flower embossed in copper. Then I took my petal pink and my blending brush, went tap, 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 tap. And I started in the center heavier and then just kind of went outwards. So what's really nice about this is it kind of gives you some like natural shading that you would have, because roses aren't like the same color. Okay, I want a little bit more color, but I don't want to make it too dark. I want to leave that center a little bit darker. Flowers aren't the same color all the way through, right? So it gives you that pink, but it allows you kind of to do that shading in the center. You guys know that I love my blending brushes. It's my new thing. I think I have a brush assigned to, people are asking me, what are you doing with your blending brushes? So I'm kind of assigning them to like kind of the color groups. So I have one that's green, one that's purple, one that's yellow, one that's pink, blue, and then I have one that's red and one that's light pink, just because light pink and red are like kind of very bold, different choices. I don't wash them. When I'm done using them, I just like take and like brush off as much color that I can possibly get off. And then I just throw mine in a bin. I have these like cheap baggies, and I've just kind of been throwing them over the end just so that they don't mix up colors between them. And so far that seems to be working. Okay, so background is in petal pink, regular 5.5 by 8.5 inches folded in half. Then I have a piece of crumb cake. Where's my, that I'm going to, oh, actually, I'm not going to glue that on yet. I'm going to need my designer series paper and my ribbon first, getting 2 steps ahead of myself. So I'm going to take that. This Abigail Rose paper is just gorgeous. It kind of gives you kind of a variation. Some of it, they're more gray granite, some are more crumb cake, and then with kind of white in between, right? So I think I'm going to go with, let's see what that looks like. Kind of a different vibe than my initial one, but I like that. Okay, so I'm going to put adhesive on the back there, flip it over, and grab my ribbon. Ribbon's going to go all the way around, and then add some additional adhesive. Put that on the front. Okay, so once I have that on the front, I'm going to grab my beautiful rose gold vine, and it's totally up to you. Like, you can like always, I think it looks pretty if you want to like do it. Maybe this one I'll do more over top of the ribbon, or you could always tuck it under the ribbon. Kind of depends how much, I'm using some Tombow glue here, how much of the, if you prefer the ribbon look or if you prefer the rose gold look, which one you want to showcase a little bit further. So there's that. I just wanted my stem so that it kind of, this one I'll put on top of the ribbon. Like I said, no right or wrong answer. Creative license. Okay, and then I need some dimensionals. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of my flower and on top of the sentiment. I'm going to take a step back though, because I remembered something. What I did was that I got everything placed where I wanted it to go. I actually took and put a little bit of adhesive here. And then glued my flower and sentiment together like that. And then put dimensionals on, just because I didn't want it too high. If I started putting, you don't have to do that, but I didn't want it. Sometimes I like to be able to mail a card. You know how much I love dimensionals, but sometimes realism of like postage and mailing and things does come into the swing of things, right? Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on the front. Like that. Now this is mostly adhering to the ribbon. So I'm actually going to put another dimensional kind of on the side here as well, just so that it's not only the ribbon that's in charge of keeping that in place. Right there. And tack another one here just at the top. Just like that. And there you go. Totally girly girl. So I hope that you like this. To a friend that makes me smile, again, thinking of you card, happy birthday, just because, all of the wonderful things. So hope you enjoy that. Have a wonderful day.